Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. What's going on, y'all, with my microphone? Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. All right. All right, so we are live, we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shalawama, shalawalam. Shalawama, shalawama. I am Dr. Yasapa with Zion Law School. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time with us, I want to say a special welcome to you. You are here. This is the 43rd presentation, the 43rd live stream of Astrotheology. We're working with the book called The Devil's Pulpit by Reverend Robert Taylor. By Reverend Robert Taylor. There is no religion, there is no doctrine in this book. What this book presents is science. What science? Philology, language. Excuse me. The author gives us a good demonstration on how to use language as a sword. How to use language as a sword. But you must understand etymology and other sciences that the author mentions in the book. So download the book. You can get the book for free. It's a free PDF. The Devil's Pulpit by Reverend Robert Taylor. Don't let the name fool you. Don't let the name Devil's Pulpit fool you. It has nothing to do with religious dogma. It has nothing to do with religious dogma. All right, so what's the book about? The author is a former secret society member, Freemasons, I believe it was, and he was a sincere reverend preaching the Gospels. As he progressed through the secret society, excuse me, y'all. As he progressed through the secret society, he was taught that the Gospels, well, actually the whole Bible, but specifically the Gospels, is just a fairy tale, okay? Specifically the Gospels, the New Testament is a fairy tale that tells the story of the movement of the heavenly bodies on an annual basis, okay? It tells the story of the movement of the heavenly bodies on an annual basis. It repeats the same thing over and over every year. Long story short is this. Robert Taylor continued preaching until his conscience wouldn't let him do it anymore. His conscience began to eat him up inside, and he decided that he would tell the truth. And he started telling the truth. And the secret society members had him put in prison twice. And when he was finally able to get out, they branded him as the devil's chaplain, the devil's preacher, hence the name of the book, The Devil's Pulpit. All right, there is no religion, no spiritism, no doctrine, no horoscope, nothing spooky at all about this book or about these live stream presentations. Nothing spooky. So relax and get ready for a great, great show. You're going to learn a lot. I can guarantee you that. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. By the way, remember to subscribe to 101 Ancient Ibaryath. Return to the Most High. Return to your culture, your heritage by subscribing to 101 Ancient Ibaryath and learn your language, which is Ibaryath. It's so inexpensive, it's almost free. Basically, it's free. There's no contract, cancel it, but I'm not going to go through all of that. Let's go into the lesson because there's some things I want to show y'all. All right, now what are we looking at? What are we looking at? First, let's orient ourselves so we can know where we are looking. This is the libraryofcongress.gov. This is their website, okay? This is the astrotheology presentation. So this map must obviously deal with the heavenly bodies, a celestial map, right? So now let's take a look at the title. Let's get oriented with the title, A Celestial Planisphere or Map of the Heavens, okay? In other words, the celestial bodies. Now, there are some things that I want to show y'all, okay, that we've been dealing with in the class. So now let's look at where we are. Excuse me. All right. Something I want to show y'all. We were dealing with the corona borealis, which is the crown, right? The crown in the north. Y'all see the corona borealis? Go back. This has to do with astrotheology number 41 and number 42, perhaps number 43, but all of the astrotheology presentations on the topic of the cup of salvation, the cup of salvation. All right, so the corona borealis, this is the crown. Y'all see the crown, these stars? This is the crown in the north that we read about yesterday in video number 42. Was it 42? 42, yeah, I think it was 42. This is the crown. Everybody can see that, right? This is the crown. What is the crown made of in mythology? In mythology, this is the ivy crown, the ivy crown. This correlates to all Catholic Church and cathedrals having ivy growing on the walls to prevent the sun. In other words, to shade out, to block the sun from hitting the table, right? Everybody remember that. This is in the north part of the celestial globe. All right, so here is the ivy crown, and who's wearing the ivy crown? Scholars in the audience, who is wearing the ivy crown? It is the deity whose name is spelled B-A-C-C-H-U-S. That is the deity of wine, right? Of wine. So now what are we talking about? The autumn winemaking season, and specifically the last day that you can make wine, or that you can pick or harvest the grapes to make wine. I think it was in this, I think the author mentioned September 21. Every year, September 21, the last day, or in other words, the last fruits of the harvest. The last fruits of the harvest. This is the deity whose name is spelled B-A-C-C-H-U-S. He is the deity of wine. And his mother is, her name is spelled C-E-R-E-S. C-E-R-E-S. That is the deity of the grain harvest. All right. So there we have it. Now let's go a little bit up higher. Let's reduce this. So everybody see, this is the deity whose name is spelled Bacchus, who wears the ivy harvest, who wears the ivy crown, the corona, the ivy corona, which correlates to the ivy growing on the walls of every church and cathedral. Also stained glass, also painted windows to block out the sun from hitting the table. Everybody should recall that. Now let's scroll down, okay, so we can see what else. Now notice, y'all, we see this is what? The Tropic of Cancer. Everybody see that? Tropic of Cancer. This line right here is the Tropic of Cancer. That's going to be 23.5 degrees north or south. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. We can check it later. Let's continue looking at our map. All right. So you see the configuration of the stars, right? It's like a circle. You see? Looks like a crown, right? This is the ivy crown, the corona borealis. Now let's go down and we'll see the constellation, the relationship of the constellation associated with it. Here we are. Do y'all see Libra? So here's Libra. Here's the constellation Libra. Remember we read in the lesson yesterday in the presentation. Here's Libra, the constellation Libra. This line right here is the ecliptic. This is the ecliptic line. This is the equator line. Here's Libra, and in the north, we see the corona. We see the corona, the crown, the celestial crown, the crown of ivy worn by the deity whose name is Bacchus, whose mother's name is Ceres. All right, everybody see it. We discussed this in yesterday's presentation. So go back and watch yesterday's presentation so that you can correlate. You can correlate. We see the scales, the balance scales, Libra, justice, righteousness, the balance scales, Libra, justice, righteousness. And we see to the north, the corona. All right, scholars. Put your questions and comments in the chat. Questions and comments in the chat. All right, now let's take a look at this. This is a celestial globe. Here is the Earth in the middle, this little dot here. Again, this is the vernal equinox. This is the spring equinox, 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night. Go directly across a straight line, opposite end, you'll see the autumnal or the autumn equinox, 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night. Equal, balanced, justice. Equal, balanced, justice. So over here we see the scales of Libra. The scales of Libra, righteousness. Righteousness. And over here we see the ram or the sheep, the lamb of capital G-O-D in the spring. All right, the horizontal line here is the celestial equator. The line here at the angle, this is the, excuse me, this is the ecliptic. This is the path of the sun. This is the path of the sun in the celestial globe. Over here, we see 23.5. This is the summer solstice. This is when the sun is at its zenith. That's the highest point in the sky. And here, winter solstice, this is the point where the sun is at its lowest point in the sky. This is Satan, the devil. This is hell. This is the bottomless pit. This is darkness. All right, these are all astronomical descriptions of phenomena as they relate to the sun and the constellations. Okay, this is no religion. All right, I hope that's clear. Let's continue looking. Here we are. This is the same image, but it's more colors, looks better. So here's the earth in the center. Here's the earth in the center. Down here, March 21st. This is the spring equinox, equal length of day and night. That's 12 hours day, 12 hours night. Intersection of the ecliptic and celestial equator. Here is the ecliptic, scholars. The ecliptic is the pathway of the sun. Here you see this yellow circle here. This is the sun in its orbit or ecliptic. This is the celestial equator, the orange disc right here. This is the celestial equator. This intersection is what the author is talking about. This is the intersection of the ecliptic and the celestial equator. This is what the author is telling us. Right ascension, going to the right, moving up. The sun is at its declination. This, my friend, scholars, my fellow scholars in the audience, you are looking at Satan the devil. You are looking at Satan the devil, the bottomless pit. You are looking at Satan the devil and the bottomless pit. Understood? Understood. This is the lowest point. This is the sun at its lowest point in the celestial globe, or lowest point in the celestial heavens. Satan the devil, the bottomless pit, December 21st, 22nd. All right. Okay, this up here says elliptic apparent annual orbit of the sun. Another word for elliptic or celestial elliptic is zodiac circles. Zodiac circle is the elliptic, is the orbit of the sun. All right, now, again here, this is March 21st. This is the spring equinox, the vernal equinox, the lamb of capital G-O-D, also the ram. We go to the opposite side of this line, right? We go here. This is the autumn equinox, equal length of day and night. Intersection of the ecliptic is here, of the ecliptic and the celestial horizon or equator is here. All right. All right. This is occurring on this illustration on September 23rd. This is occurring on September 23rd. Now you are oriented. My fellow scholars, you are oriented in space. You're oriented in space. Shalom, Miriam, how are you?
Wait. Oh, I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad you can make it in. I'm glad.
Oh, yeah.
I like your hair. I like your hair. It looks nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I cut it all off and we're doing something different.
It looks good. I like that. I like that. It looks good. It really
Okay.
looks good. I like that look. All right. So did you have any, well, would you like to say hello to the scholars in the audience who are watching and who might watch this? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
Anything that you want, introduce yourself so they know who you are.
Well, my name is Miriam, and I met Dr. Yesapa through his Paleo and Ancient Paleo Hebrew class, and I've just really enjoyed that teaching. And now I'm also starting to teach children Hebrew too. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just helping to teach the newly awakened Israelites. That's what I do. So, and mostly the children. So hallelujah. That's all I have to say. But it's so nice to meet everyone.
Excellent, excellent. I'm glad you can make it. All right. So let's continue, y'all. Let's continue. I think I have one more visualization to show y'all. Let's see here. Well, I think there's not. I think I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop here, y'all. So let's go back to our document. All right, let's go back to the document. We can begin. We left off on page 233. Let me check to make sure my screen is showing on the live stream. Give me 1 second, y'all. Make sure also, scholars, make sure you like and share this video. Call your friends right now, friends, family, call somebody, let them know we're live. Tell them to come on and subscribe and learn with us, okay? Also, I'm going to ask that everybody be very active in the comment section. I'm going to ask that you not be stingy with your knowledge, and also don't be shy, okay? Share it so that everybody can learn, all right? Share it so that everybody can learn, put it in the chat. If you have questions, put your questions in the chat. And if anybody knows in the chat the answer to the questions, go ahead and answer the questions, okay? Our goal is to educate, educate, and educate, but not just to educate, but to provide an outstanding, an extremely outstanding quality presentation on this topic. That's the goal. That's the goal. And I need y'all to help me with that because I don't know everything. All right. And it's a lot of work and effort to sit here and talk and read and do all of this stuff. So help me out. Excuse me. Don't leave it all up to me. So here are your instructions for those of you who are for the scholars in the audience. These are your instructions, what I need help on. If you see a word that you do not know the definition of, or you think other people may not know the definition of, Google it, copy paste the meaning of the word in the comment section. We all know that 99.99% of our people are not disciplined enough to look up words. Also do the same thing when you see a citation, when you see a book cited. Also look that book up and then paste the link to the book or to a website or something so that it's easy for people who come after us to access this information. I know there's a lot of you who are here listening to this presentation who have good research skills. That's why you come to Zion Law School on YouTube, because this is not for everybody, right? This takes a lot of effort and discipline, all right? So I know there's a lot of y'all who have the research skills. So I'm asking kindly, please help us out by putting that information in the comment section. So with that said, I am going to get started. Miriam, we're on page 233 of the Devil's Pulpit. This is a free download PDF. Everybody can get this book for free. You can download it. It's not going to cost you a penny. I highly recommend that you print it. It's much, much easier to read if you print it. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so page 233, and we are here. Can you see the screen, Miriam?
Oh, yes, I can see the screen just fine. I'm on a little bit of a walk, so after I finish walking, then I'll really get into it. I kind of just want to observe right now if I can. So.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll go ahead and get started with where the highlight is.
All right.
All right, so here we are. Let's begin. All right, here we are. Here is the old maid herself, so fond of a drop of the crater. That's the wine in the crater, remember, scholars? The crater is a cup that has two handles. Here is the old maid herself, as fond of a drop of wine of the crater as any of us, with her head, as you see, running on nothing but the crater, which she has just been smelling. She turns away her head in disgust because she finds it empty. Ain't no wine in the cup, y'all. And with her outstretched arm, in which is the bright star Vindi matrix, that is to say, indicator, excuse me, hold on, y'all, I'm losing my voice. All right, sorry about that. In which there is the bright star Vindi matrix, that is to say, indicator or indicator of the approaching vintage. She seems in the act of saying, quote, they have no wine, end quote. So let's take a look at what the author is talking about. First, the author is saying that there's a woman. She's interested in wine. She wants wine. She looks in the cup. There is no wine. Is that correct? She looks in the cup. There is no wine. All right, so she finds it empty, and then the scholar continues to write, and with her outstretched arm, in which is the star Vindi matrix. Y'all notice that. And with her outstretched arm, in which is the bright star Vindi matrix. Now we know we are talking about a constellation, right? We're talking about a constellation where there's a bright star in the arm of the woman. Clear? Everybody clear? That is to say, the author continues, indicator of the approaching vintage. The approaching vintage is the last day that you can harvest grapes to press for wine. The last day of the grape harvest. In other words, you get these last grapes to make your last wine for the whole year. Next time you can make wine will be next year. Okay, this is what that's telling us. So now let me see if I can find a visualization of Vindi matrix real quick. Give me 1 second, scholars. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to visualize Vindi matrix, the Vindi matrix. Give me 1 second here. Let's see what we can do with it. Vindi matrix. Let's see. What images do we come up with? All right. So here we see the fixed star Vindi matrix, right? But we want to visualize the woman. We want to visualize the woman, right? The woman who has the Vindi matrix star in her arm. So let's go back and see if we can find it. Excuse me, y'all. Having problems with my voice. So let's see. So let's see. All right, we can find it. See if we can find an image. Okay. So y'all, sometimes it's hard to find these images, but we do the best we can, right? Uh-oh, not what I want. 1 second. Let's see what we can find. All right, there we go. Looks like we got something, y'all. Everybody see that? Virgo. Y'all should be able to correlate this woman. What Bible book talks about a woman? A celestial woman?
Probably the book of Revelations, I'm thinking.
I'm thinking also.
Actually, there's two women in Revelations. So
Y'all see it here? This looks like what it might be talking about. Okay, the constellation there. Let's continue looking. Miriam, you'd be surprised how hard it is to find images of these. Okay, so here we are. Let's see what this is. Let's see what we have here. Star constellation Virgo. No, let's see if we can find it here. Let me scan through this. Okay, so this looks like it, but no. Let's see. Let's continue searching. I want y'all to see this. Let's see. Venn matrix. Yeah, you would think it would just show right up, right? Let's see, let's continue scrolling. So let me just try Virgo. Let me just try Virgo. Does anyone in the chat have a better suggestion for a search term? Or does anyone know a website that we can look at real fast so that we can save time? Okay, so what is this one? This is Venn matrix. We're getting close. So Virgo, Virgin, we should know who this is referring to in the New Testament, right? Scholars, we should have an idea who's being referred to in the New Testament, the Virgin, Virgo.
Well, it could be the woman in Revelations, or else are we talking about the Virgin Mary?
Yeah, it can be both, yes.
Okay.
This is what I'm thinking, just by the correlations, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So here's Venn matrix. Y'all see it? Virgo. Yeah, so I was right. It's Virgo. All right. So I don't know why my page is so crazy right now. It's too big. Okay, there we go. So let me see what we can find, if we can find something better down here. Venn matrix and Virgin. Let's see if that gives us a good image. It's so helpful to be able to see things.
Oh, yes.
So that's the Venn matrix. Is this it? Yeah, Venn matrix. That's the Venn matrix. I believe. Yeah, so I think it's the spica, or is it the spica, the Venn matrix? Oh, here it is. Y'all see it? So here's the woman. She's got on her crown. And here's the Venn matrix in her arm. And here is the corn in her hand. The autumn corn harvest. Y'all see it?
Mm-hmm.
Scholars in the audience, do y'all see that?
Oh, yes, I see it.
You see it? Okay, great. Y'all remember, like and share the video, please. Like and share the video. This is a lot of work to do this stuff, so y'all make sure y'all at least at minimum subscribe, like, and share the video. Okay. So again, scholars in the audience, We are looking at Virgo, the constellation Virgo, the woman with the Vindi matrix in her arm that the author is referring to. Just look at the cursor here. This is the Vindi matrix. All right, now let's go back to our text. Okay, let's continue. I'm going to continue with the reading. All right. And observe now the position of the heavenly bodies. At the moment when the stars in that outstretched arm peer above the edge of the horizon, due east by north. And then read off the text, which I have read to you from Sacred Writ, that's a sacred document, and this astronomical text. All right, so now let's try to visualize this, okay? See if we can find something. So this is what we're looking for. The author writes, and observe now the position of the heavenly bodies at the moment when the stars in that outstretched arm, that's the outstretched arm of Virgo, in that outstretched, hold on, y'all, let me turn this thing. How did that happen? Hold on. Something happened with, all right. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's see if we can visualize Virgo. To see if we can visualize what the author is telling us about. Let's see if it's here. All right, so that's it. Okay, so y'all see it here. So here's Virgo, here's Vindi matrix. All right. Now he's asking us to look at the moment when the stars in that outstretched arm peer above the edge of the horizon. So let's go ahead and search Vindi matrix and celestial horizon. So y'all remember we looked at the celestial horizon, right? Y'all remember what that is? Okay, so now let's see if we can see it. Let's try to visualize it. What is this? All right, so here's Virgo, here's the Vindi matrix, but I do not see the celestial horizon. All right, I don't see the celestial horizon. So let's take a look some more. What's on your mind? Oh, maybe this is it. Let's take a look. No, I guess that's not it. All right. What's on your mind, Miriam? So let's see.
I just think this is amazing. All this information about the stars and how it all. Well, we see the Bible in the stars. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. I'm starting to really like this. I'm thinking about doing a whole lot more on astrotheology when I finish the book, because I'm having fun,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really having fun doing it.
Oh yeah.
So let's see. But these images are so hard to find. But what I'm noticing is that I'm starting to find more and more, though.
Mm-hmm.
Starting to find more and more. And I found some incredible stuff today. I haven't shown it yet. I don't know when I'm going to show it, but I'll show it in the future. So let me show y'all what the celestial heaven. When does the Vindi? I know this Vindi matrix cross the horizon. So maybe we'll get it this way. Let's see. Let's see. Did we get it here? All right, no, we didn't. Okay, so let's see. Oh, here's a celestial horizon here. So the Vindi matrix would cross here. This is what the author is telling us. But it would be in September. It would be in September when that star would approach here. He said the celestial horizon, right? Yeah, peer above, it says, observe now the positions of the heavenly bodies at that moment when the stars in that outstretched arm peer above the edge of the horizon, due east by north. So this is the horizon that he's talking about, okay? The Vindi matrix would pass here, but I wanted to see something that shows the other constellations. And I don't see them. But anyway, we'll find something. If I find it, I'll show it tomorrow, y'all. If I don't find it now, if I find it later, I'll show it tomorrow. But at least we have some idea right now of what he's talking about. Okay. All right, so let's give this one more chance. Let's see, Vindi matrix. Let's see if we can get what we can get from here. If there's anything. Let's see, Vindi matrix. Vindi matrix is a giant star. Y'all see this? It can be seen with the naked eye, right? You don't need a telescope to see it. All right. So we want to know its relationship to other stars, other constellations. Okay, maybe it's going to be, let's see. No, I don't see it there. I don't see it there. Okay, I see it. Here it is. The declination is far north or south. The declination is how far north or south the object is compared to the celestial equator. We already visualized the celestial equator. Let's go back to the celestial equator. All right, scholars, this is the celestial equator here. This is what they're talking about. Okay, this is the celestial equator. Oops. Where is our? All right, the declination is how far north. Remember, north was the corona that we looked at, y'all. Remember that corona crown, ivy crown? That's northward. The declination is how far north or south the object is compared to the celestial equator and is expressed in degrees. For Vindi matrix, here it is. The location is 13 hours and 2 minutes, 10.76, and plus 10.5 degrees. And it goes on. That's its location. But we want the location when it crosses the celestial horizon, right? All right, Vindi matrix proper motion, radial velocity, we don't want that. Physical properties, radius, mass. All right, y'all can come back to this on your own. This will be a good study. If anybody wants to come on and study this and present it here, you're welcome to come in and present this topic. All right, you are definitely welcome to come in and present this topic. All right, let's see what else we see. All right. It's probably here somewhere, I just don't see it. Okay, so wait, okay, so here's the Vindi matrix. Y'all see Vindi matrix, but it doesn't show the relationship to the other constellations near the horizon. Oh well. I'm gonna try one more again. let's see, vintage, Vendy matrix location. I should have put horizon. No. You getting bored, Miriam?
Not at all. I'm just downloading the book. That's all.
Okay. Let's see. If anybody has any search term ideas, put it in the chat and I will check it so we can try to see it. It's always better to see things. Easier to understand and remember. So they don't have anything, y'all. So it's all garbage. All right, let's go back. Let's continue reading, scholars. And observe now the position of the heavenly bodies at the moment when the stars in that outstretched arm peer above the edge of the horizon. It's going to be due east by north. That's the area, due east by north in the celestial globe. And then read off the text, which I have read to you from Sacred Script and this astronomical text. Who are the capital LORDs of the ascendant at that moment, for whose sake this quote that cometh from Eden with dyed garments from Basra. Y'all remember that from the beginning of the chapter? Let me read that so refresh our memory. So this was at the beginning of the chapter. This is a quotation from Isaiah chapter 63, verse 1 through 8. It's quite a bit, but I'm going to read it to refresh your memories. Quote, who is this that come from Eden with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel. He's wearing some fancy clothes, traveling in the greatness of his strength. That means he's powerful, he's rich, right? He's doing well. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine vat. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. So his clothes are going to be full of blood, y'all. Let's continue. This is on the very first page of this chapter, page 223. It continues. Vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none, lo, uphold. Therefore, mine own arm brought salvation unto me. And my fury, it upheld me. And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drink in my fury. And I will bring them down, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. I will mention the loving kindness of the capital LORD and the praises of the capital LORD according to all that the capital LORD hath bestowed on us, and the great goodness toward the house of Israel, Isis, Ra, and El, y'all, which he hath bestowed on them according to his mercies and according to the multitude of his loving kindness. For he said, quote, Surely they are my people, children that will not lie. So he was their savior, end quote. Isaiah chapter 63, verse 1 through 8. Let's continue with the reading, scholars, now that your memory has been refreshed. Let's continue. Who are the capital LORDs of the ascendant at that moment? Who are the capital LORDs of the ascendant at that moment? I lost my page, y'all. What page? Sorry, Rosemary. I lost my page. We're on page 233. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. Let me position the page. All right, so who are the capital LORDs of the ascendant at that moment, for whose sake that this quote that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra treadeth the winepress alone, and of the people there is none with him? That's a question, y'all. Here's the answer. They are the children, Castor and Pollux, Gemini, the twins of the zodiac, quote, children that will not lie, and the only children that ever answer to the definition. Y'all hear that? This takes us back to the previous chapter, right? The previous chapter where we dealt with balance scales and justice. He continues, sure indicators by their ascendancy and zenith of the rising up of this outstretched arm of the capital LORD. Did y'all get that? Let me read it for you again. These twins, that's Castor and Pollux, these, if y'all remember, scholars, if you remember, these were the lawyers, the lawmen, right? These were the professors of law. These were the professors of law astrologically. Also on earth, they were the professors of law who rebelled and twisted the law. Okay, that's why the US has unbalanced scales representing its system of justice. But let's continue. They are the children, Castor and Pollux, Gemini, the zodiac sign Gemini, the twins of the zodiac, quote, children that will not lie, because they're only interested in justice, pure justice, righteousness. And the only children that ever answered to the definition. Sure indicators by their ascendancy and zenith. We saw zenith, right, scholars? And zenith of the rising up of this outstretched arm of the capital LORD, which will bring on the day of vengeance, that is, of vine, V-I-N-E, vine, as in grapevine, vine, vengeance, or of treading and trampling down the grapes in the wine press called the agony. And the footnote reads, an agony literally is a wine press. Its application to a state of human suffering is metaphysical. Vengeance, avenger, vindication are technical to the business of the venter or wine maker. Y'all got that? Let's look at, you have any questions or comments on this topic, Rosemary? If not, let me show the sun at its zenith. So let's take a look, see if we can find the sun at its zenith. All right. So let's take a look at this so y'all can have a better idea of what the author is talking about. Okay, so he is pointing us to the sun at its zenith. Very simple, right, scholars? Very simple. This is the sun at the zenith. This is the highest point that the sun reaches in the celestial globe. Okay, everybody see that? Here is east and here is north. So the position we are in is northeast, right? That's what the author said. This is the zenith. Remember, when the sun is at its zenith, which is the highest point in the celestial globe, the sun is now called Christ. This is the Christ. All right. The sun at zenith is the Christ. All right. So let's go back to our publication. Let's continue reading. All right. So I'm going to pick back up. They are the children Castor and Pollux, Gemini, the twins of the zodiac. Quote, children that will not lie, and the only children that ever answered to the definition. Okay, everybody got that? They're the only children who ever answered to the definition of never lying. Sure, and the only children that ever answered to the definition, sure indicators by their ascendancy, in the zenith of the rising up of this outstretched arm of the capital Lord, which will bring on the day of vengeance. Y'all got that? The sun, let me explain this. The sun, once the sun is in its zenith, it's at the highest point. Can it go higher? No, it cannot go higher. The sun from this point can only go down. Y'all see that? Here's the sun, 12 hours, here 12 hours day, 12 hours night. The sun continues to rise during spring, summer, the number of daylight hours begin to exceed the number of nighttime hours until we get to the point in the zenith when the number of daylight hours reaches its maximum for the year, and the number of nighttime hours reaches its minimum for the year. Now, the sun, because it's at its highest point, it can only begin to go down. So what comes after summer? Fall. And the number of daylight hours begin to become less. And the number of nighttime hours begin to become more, right? And what happens in fall? There is a harvest. First, the grain harvest, and then in September, sometime around September 21, 22, 23rd, that's going to be the last day of the great harvest. This is what the author is teaching. Let's continue. Let us continue. Children that will not lie, and the only children that ever answer to the definition, sure indicators by their ascendancy in the zenith. And we're talking about the Gemini, right? With the sun in its zenith, or of the rising of this outstretched arm of the capital Lord, which will bring on the day of vengeance. The day of vengeance is going to be here. The grape harvest, the wine press, Isaiah 63, verse 63 or 62, whatever it was, verse 1 through 6 or 1 through 8. Okay, let's continue. Which will bring on the day of vengeance. That is, in other words, what does vengeance really mean? Vengeance, vine, V-I-N-E, as in grapevine, vine, gents, or of treading and trampling down the grapes in the wine press, called the agony. In the garden of Gethsemane, when the declining sun sweats his blood out into the cup of salvation. Now, this is a reference to the Christ figure in Gethsemane, right? In the Gethsemane, in the Garden of Gethsemane, when the declining sun, S-U-N, sweats his blood out into the cup of salvation. So what is that talking about? The grapes being crushed under the feet of whoever is pressing the wine. Okay, it's going to go into the cup of salvation. That's the grape juice in the glass of wine, right? That day always being the day of the sun's, S-U-N apostrophe S, position in the line of the equator. As the sun comes to that position every autumn. Everybody got that? Quote, the point of the autumn equinox being, as you see, parallel with that of the vernal equinox, the archangel Michael, or the genus of Michaelmas Day, which has his name of Michael. So let me, oh, sorry about that, y'all. I'm sitting here reading. I didn't realize I didn't have it on for y'all to see. Okay, so we are here. No, we are here. We are here. So let me go back and read that again for y'all. Quote, the point of the autumn equinox being, as you see, parallel with that of the vernal equinox, the archangel Michael, or genus of Michaelmas Day, has his name of Michael, which signifies equal with capital G-O-D. And JC, the Christ figure, the just one, as he is called by the first martyr, Saint Stephen, the corona septentrionalis, whose position you see is immediately over the scales of justice. So y'all, we showed that, right? We showed that earlier. I'll go ahead and show it again. Give me one moment, please. Let's try to find it. So where is it? We showed, here we are. So here's the corona right over the scales of Libra. Y'all see it? To the north. Everybody see that? Here's Libra. This is justice, equal justice, righteousness. And just above that is the corona. All right. This is the first martyrer. This is the celestial eclipse that we looked at. This line right here. This is the celestial eclipse. Okay. The path of the sun. And this is the celestial equator. All right. This is the celestial equator. All right. So here we are. Here we are. Let's go back and watch yesterday's video number 41 and 42, if you want to see what we just read in the last paragraph. Go back and watch the last maybe 5 to 7 videos if you want to see everything we read in the last paragraph. You okay, Miriam?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay. Is this hard to follow, or is it?
No, it's
Good. Okay.
just it's a lot. So it's covering the calendar, what's going on with the church, and the lies of Christianity all in one, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so let's go through. Miriam, do you want to read some of the comments, or do you want me to do it?
No, I can read it. Where are we at? Let's see. I'm trying to think because
The comment section. I think the first one is Gary Tucker. He says Shalawama.
I don't see anybody else on here. Let me see. Let's see.
Shalawama, Gary Tucker.
Yeah.
Well, I can go ahead and read it. When you find it, let me know. Gary
Yeah, 'cause
Tucker. Mhm.
I don't really know where to look for them. Let me see.
Okay, okay. So Gary Tucker is asking a question. If Lucifer is associated as the planet Venus, then how is the sun's position also Satan? On that vertical line, 1230, zenith is the sun's position at its highest point. That's the Christ. The sun's position at the lowest point is Satan, the devil, because winter is darkness and it's a bottomless pit. In other words, the celestial globe has no bottom. So it's the dark, or it's the blackness of the bottomless pit. But more important than that is because the highest point in the celestial globe, if you draw a line, a parallel line all the way down, the very opposite end of that line is the opposite end of the line. It is opposite, it is opposer, it is the adversary. So hence, Satan, the devil, the opposer, the adversary, only meaning that the sun at its highest point is opposite to the sun at its lowest point. Therefore, the devil is the opposer. Winter time is dark, things are dying. People steal in the winter. People steal to survive. They die, they freeze to death, right? Life is hard. But in the summertime, there's light, and people usually won't steal in the light, right? Anyway, that's how the author explains it. So private account writes, online etymology services are the best. Gary Tucker writes, there are approximately 11 female constellations. Okay, that's good information. I didn't know that. Private account writes, the bowl of the Big Dipper from the star Magres through the star Marek, you are going in the direction opposite of the Big Dipper's handle. This line will point to Castor and Polex. Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for that. Private account writes, draw a line from the bowl. Thanks. Okay, excellent, excellent. These visualizations, a private account, if you could drop a link, that would be great. So we can visualize that. All right, so let me see, let me find my place and I will begin reading. So I think the important thing, scholars, to remember is that vengeance actually means wine press. It's the process of making wine. That's very interesting, is it? Vengeance, avenger, vindication are technical to the business of wine making. All right. And the reason why that's important is because we opened up with the verse from Isaiah. The verse from Isaiah was Isaiah chapter 63, verse 1 through 8. Right? I will tread them in mine anger and trample them in my fury. So on and so forth. The author, well, Isaiah is talking about having blood or wine all over his clothes. When you read, for example, it says, for the day of vengeance, the day of vengeance, the day of wine making is mine heart. And the year of my redeemed it come. So the author is saying that this verse is referring to wine making season. All right. So do y'all agree or disagree with the author's position so far?
Yeah, I agree. So I agree. I do agree with it so far.
Okay, you want to talk about why, or you just
Well,
want to state?
well, the winemaking, as I see it, is basically it's almost like the grapes come to their fullest potential when they're made into wine. They are the most use, as opposed to just being a grape by itself. But when they become wine, then they come to their fullest potential. And it sounds like that has something to do with our lives being brought to our fullest potential too.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let me see, I'm looking up a term to see what we can come up with, to see if there's something we can visualize real quick. If not, if I don't see it, I won't go through it. But give me 1 second. No, it's not giving us a good image.
We don't have to have an
I'll
image.
show it anyway. Huh?
I said we don't have to have an image for everything. We can just read the book, you know.
Okay. So here's a corona.
Wow.
Septenalis.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Me and the
So
kids
that's what,
in my class, we were studying about the elements and how you learn all about the Most High, your Ahaya, or Yeshaya, basically, the angels, Mary, his mother, that the 12 apostles. You see everybody up there in the stars. The whole Bible is written in the sky.
Okay, excellent. Everybody hear that? Excellent. All right, so let's go back to the book now. Let's see, is this another one? Let's go back to the book and continue. Thanks, y'all, for filling up the comment section. Please keep it coming. Keep it coming. All right, so let's continue. We're on page 234. And Enoch, the just man, who was translated and, quote, was not because capital G-O-D took him, end quote. That is, the sun, S-U-N, entering into the constellation by his brighter effulgence, rendered the stars, which constitute this constellation, invisible. And Noah, that is Noki. Y'all won't believe, but I got a brother named Noki.
Yeah.
Yeah, my older brother, his name is Noki.
That sounds like a nickname.
Yeah, it's a nickname. His real name is Alex.
And y'all call him Noki for short, huh?
Yeah, we call him Noki. And you know what? Even he's older than me. We still call him Noki. I got another brother we still call Pookie.
Yep.
I would love to see them again.
Very popular in those days. Back in the day, everybody was named Pookie. I remember.
Y'all check this out regarding Enoch. And Enoch, that just man, y'all, that just man Enoch, who was translated and, quote, who was not because capital G-O-D took him, end quote. And here's the explanation according to the author. That is the sun, S-U-N. Author is saying Enoch represents the sun, S-U-N, entering into the constellation by his brighter effulgence, rendered the stars, which constitute this constellation, invisible. Understand that, y'all. The sun entered into that constellation, and because the sun was so bright, we can't see the other stars because the sun's brightness overpowers them. So you cannot see the other stars from Earth. This is what the author is telling us, because the sun is so bright. By his brighter effulgence, rendered the stars, which constitute this constellation, invisible. And Noah, that is Noki, Enoch, wow, I wish I could find my brother and tell him this. That is Noki or Enoch written backwards. That just man, notwithstanding his getting so gloriously drunk, are both said to walk with the capital G-O-D. So who was it that got drunk? Noah got drunk with the wine. Everybody remember the story? Scholars in the audience, so relate Noah getting drunk with wine to this story. I never knew. Wow, Enoch, I don't know why I never thought about that. Enoch spelled backwards is Noki. All right, my brother's name means Noki. I mean, Enoch. Okay, so let's continue. But how could any man walk? By the way, scholars, it appears to me that the author, I know I said this last presentation, it appears to me that this author is a Moor. This author is a Moor. It appears to me just by what I'm reading as he writes. But let's continue. But how could any man walk with capital G-O-D, with their indefinite, indescript, and indescribable capital G-O-D, their incomprehensible and finite space-filling capital G-O-D? How can a man walk with the Most High is what the author is asking. He continues, when their capital G-O-D cannot walk himself. Okay, well, that's one option, right? He can't walk, so you can walk with him because he can't walk. Why? To be sure, he would be at the journey's end before he set out. And as he fills all space, y'all see that? This is saying that capital G-O-D fills all space, so why would he have to walk? I think that's the author's point. As he fills all space, he must sit still in all space. Y'all see that? No need to walk because he fills all space. So where's he going to walk to? He has to be still in space. Like a gouty old man in his armchair and stay at home through all eternity. Footnote reads in the indictment. So go back and read, watch the first 2 or 3 presentations and you'll know about what this indictment is he's talking about. Let's continue. Oh, folly, folly, where will thy foolishness end? Into such measureless absurdities will men run when they are, as we see them, too ignorant to give a rational meaning of their own language to us, and too wicked to let us show the rational meaning of it to them. In other words, the author is saying, if you show any truth, these secret society members, these preachers, pastors, rabbis, moshes, mores, all of that, if you start to show truth, they're going to come at you and try to lock you up or maybe even take you out. Same as they did to the author. This is what he's referring to. But see, now how? To all definitions, even to the most apparently incongruous and contradictory of this sacramental cup. In other words, he's saying that there's a lot of contradictions associated with this cup of salvation. This has to do with the glass of wine at the Last Supper. Remember, the wine and the bread that brought in the new covenant. The author is saying that there's something wrong with this sacramental cup. And I'm assuming he's going to show us. Of this sacramental cup answers this cup of the celestial sphere as thus. First, quote, it is the cup of salvation. You drink of it and are saved, end quote. Psalms, man, I don't remember what this is Psalms 100 and something. Psalms 156, let me make sure, y'all. I don't deal with Roman numerals every day anymore. That's college stuff. Psalms, is that right?
It looks like Psalm 66. 66:13.
Psalm 66. CX51. Okay. Let's see. What is this? (116) verse 13. I will take the cup of salvation and call upon the name of the capital L-O-R-D. Everybody see that? Psalms 116:13. I will lift the cup of salvation and call upon the name of the capital L-O-R-D. because it preserves the sun's, S-U-N, vital heat within you, without which you would go dead. In other words, that is the wine of the wine that the alcohol from the wine that you drink, the author is saying preserves your body heat. All right, that's what he's saying. And we are here. Now, remember, we're talking about, let me read this paragraph again so everybody knows what we're talking about. But see now how to the definitions, even to the most apparently incongruous and contradictory of this sacramental cup, answers this cup of the celestial sphere as thus. So it's confusing, right? This is a difficult read. So we're trying to understand, what is this sacramental cup? The author is saying in the first that it is the cup of salvation. He gave us the scriptural basis, Psalms 113, verse 13. Okay, second point, it is the cup of damnation. You drink of it and be damned, because after the Son has shed his precious blood into it, his reign in the summer months is over, and hell and Tommy he must go. What is hell and Tommy astronomically, scholars? From other lessons, the author has presented to us that hell is December 21st, 22nd. This is the lowest point of the sun in the celestial globe. It is the lowest point on the celestial globe. It is hell. It is the bottomless pit. It is the black pit. It is Satan, the devil, astronomically, not theologically, astronomically. Tommy is doubting Thomas's day, right? That has to do with the fact that, for review scholars, again, December 21st, 22nd, the sun is at its lowest point on the celestial globe. It is Satan, the devil, right? December 23rd, December 24th, the sun begins moving upward. It begins moving upward, but not perceivably on earth. At 12 o'clock midnight, December 25th, 12 o'clock midnight, rather, December 24th, the sun has now moved up 1 degree, and we can perceive it on earth by the first time the length of days has increased. All right, the first time that the length of days has increased. All right, so that's what the author is talking about. That is the cup of damnation. You drink of it and be damned, because after the sun has shed its precious blood into it, his reign in the summer months is over. And the only place for the sun to go from zenith, which is the highest point, is down, right? So in autumn, you get to make your wine. You get to enjoy wine. But then after autumn, there's coming what? Winter. That's the cup of damnation. Number three, third, it is the cup of consolation. We have Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 7. Let's look that up. Get the scriptural basis, see what the author is talking about here. Jeremiah, it's 16, 7. Let's see what it reads. You're welcome to make any type of comments or anything you want, Miriam. Where is? Okay, here we are, Jeremiah 16, 7. Is it 16? Yeah, 16, verse 7. You're more than welcome if you want. Jeremiah 16, 7 reads, nor shall men break bread in mourning for them. to comfort them for the dead, nor shall men give them the cup of salvation to drink for their father or their mother. Y'all see that? So the author is saying that it is the cup of salvation, it is the cup of damnation, and it is also the cup of consolation. All right, so let's continue. So y'all let me know, do y'all agree with the author up until this point? Where do we stand? Where do you stand? Is the author making good points? Okay, Gary Tucker writes, Bacchus is also Noah, and JCRE, wine and vineyards. Yes, the Helios, Biblios is filled with anagrams. Excellent. As discussed previously, these are the same stories told over and over using different names. Good point, Gary Tucker. Good point. Good point. Good point. All right, let's continue with our reading. Fourth, this sacramental cup, that's what we're talking about. What is this sacramental cup? Fourth, it is the cup of trembling. Isaiah, what's the L? I don't remember what the L is in Roman numerals. L-I, let me click it. Give me 1 second, y'all. Isaiah, L-I, verse 22. That's not it. Isaiah L-I. All right, so let me just Google this. Roman numeral L. Okay, L in Roman numerals. L, okay, L-I. So is it L or L-I? Oh yeah, L-I, so that's 55. No, it's just 50 verse 22. Isaiah 50 verse 22. Isaiah 50 verse 22. All right, Isaiah 50 verse 20. Say it again, please.
I would say it's Isaiah 51 verse 22.
Oh, it's 51. Okay, yeah, I'll try it since I'm here. I'll 51. Okay, 51 verse 22. Okay. Isaiah 51 verse 22. All right. Do you want to read it, Miriam, or do you want me to?
No, I can read it. This is what your sovereign Lord or your sovereign says, your God who defends his people. See, I've taken out of your hand the cup that made you stagger. From that cup, the goblet of my wrath, you will never drink again.
Okay, so they didn't quote it like the way he wants. So that was Isaiah. We go to Bible Hub. You said 51, right? Isaiah 51, 22, cup of trembling. I guess this is it. Let's see. Cup, they're using cup of staggering. Cup of, oh, here we are. Do you want to read it, Miriam and KJV?
Sure. I'll read it. Let's see. Thus saith Lord, the Lord and thy God that pleaded the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. So let's continue. Let's go back to the document.
And of course, that sounds like a restoration there. That verse, both of those verses sound like verses of restoration.
Okay, so we'll continue with the fourth meaning of the sacramental cup. The author is saying here, it reads, it is the cup of trembling, Isaiah 51, 22. As you see, it stands, but on half its rim, on the slimy back of the water snake, the most slippery position that could possibly be imagined, as if to admonish us of that heaven recorded moral. Quote, there's many a slip, twist the cup and the lip. So let's see, what is he talking? Oh, he's talking about the celestial snake. As you can see, it stands but on half its rim on the slippery back of the water snake. Oh, that's the eel that we talked about, y'all, last class. Remember, heel, H-E-E-L, the eel, E-E-L, the water snake or the fish. Go back and watch presentation number 42, Astrotheology number 42, and that'll give you the background on what he's talking about. Okay, now the fifth meaning of what this sacramental cup is reads, it is the cup of grace of our capital L-O-R-D, J.C. the Christ, because it is the concentrated essence, virtue, juice, and blood of the true vine. Quoting from John chapter 15, verse 1, the true vine, who is the capital L-O-R-D, J.C. the Christ figure. So let's go ahead and look that up. How you doing for time, Miriam?
Well, I'm fine.
Okay. So that was John chapter 15, verse 1. Okay. John chapter 15, verse 1. Do you want to read it, Miriam?
Oh, sure. I am the vine, and my Father is the gardener.
He's the what?
He's the gardener.
The first part is I am the
Vine, and my Father
he
is.
said I am the truth.
I am the true vine, and my Father
Yes,
is the
the
gardener.
truth.
Sorry about that.
Yes. Right. And again, it's another reference to grapes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the point the author is making, these references.
And in this
Okay,
reference,
so anyway, let's continue.
and in this, if I could just say this, in this reference, the grapes are us.
I didn't hear you. Can you repeat it for me? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I said the grapes are us.
Oh, okay,
In this,
yes.
in this reference.
Yes. Shalawama, Roderick's point of view. Good to see you, my brother. Shalawama, Islam to all the Moors and all of the house of Yasharallah. So let's go back to the text. The sixth reason, or the sixth explanation of what this sacramental cup is, according to the author, it is the cup of the fierceness of the fury of the wrath of the Almighty, capital G-O-D, Revelation chapter 14, verse 10. Because the fiercer and the hotter is the sun, the richer and the better is our wine. Okay, let's go ahead and check that out. Revelation 14, 10. All right, let's see. Do you want to read it?
Revelation 14:10.
Yeah.
Okay. Which translation do you want? You don't care?
Up to you. Yeah, anyone you like.
I'll just do the international version.
Okay.
They too will drink the wine of Yahuwah's fury, which has been poured full strength into the cup of his wrath. They will be tormented with burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and of the Lamb.
Okay, so according to the author scholars, right, they will drink the wine of capital God's fury. Okay, So again, a reference to wine. Okay, let's continue. Number seven. The seventh meaning, according to the author of the Sacramental Cup, is it is the cup, as you see, of the pure Virgin of Bethlehem. It is the cup of the pure Virgin of Bethlehem. John chapter 2, verse 3. John chapter 2, verse 3. Okay. John chapter 2, verse 3. It's KJV. John chapter 2, verse 3. Can you read it, Miriam, please?
And when they ran out of wine, the mother of Yahusha said to him, "They have no wine."
Now this is getting interesting, right? Because this is coming to the point where the Christ figure performs his first miracle, if I remember correctly. Okay, so let's continue. The eighth meaning, according to the author of the Sacramental Cup, is, but look again, sirs, and forgive me. It is the cup of the Scarlet Lady of Babylon. Revelation 17, verse 4, and the footnote reads in the text. I'll read the footnote first. Mr. Taylor explained privately to gentlemen the ninth. It is, quote, the cup of fornication, end quote, as it stands under the point of junction of the two pair of legs. The forks made by the crossing of the equator by the elliptic. Let me read that for y'all again now, okay? So nobody get offended. This is not talking theology. This is talking about the astronomy, the astrological story, all right? So the footnote reads, Mr. Taylor, that is the author, that's the Reverend Robert Taylor, explained privately to gentlemen the ninth. It is, quote, the cup of fornication, end quote. Why is it the cup of fornication? Because it stands under the point of junction of the two pair of legs. He must be talking about the Virgin, right? I guess we need to visualize this to know what he's talking about. Okay. As it stands under the point of junction of the two legs. The forks made by the crossing of the equator by the elliptic. Okay, so the crossing of the equator by the elliptic. What is the elliptic? That is the orbit of the sun that we looked at. So when let's show it so y'all can see it. Let's show it so y'all can see it. Okay, everybody see we have better pictures. Let me see, there's a better picture. As a matter of fact, I showed some good pictures. Let me see. Here it is. So y'all see the elliptic? This yellow, this is the sun's orbit. This is the sun. This is the elliptic, y'all. All right. This is the celestial equator, and this is where it crosses. This is the point he's talking about. This is where the fornication is taking place. I think he's talking about when the Virgin crosses here, because we've only talked about the Virgin, right? Virgo. So when her two legs cross here, it is the cup of fornication. This is referencing Revelation chapter 14, verse 4. So let's look that up real quick. Revelation chapter 14, verse 4. This is so much fun. I kind of feel sorry for people who, their religious views won't allow them to consider this kind of stuff. Because even if you don't agree, even if you don't agree with it, it does make you think, makes you think about things and see things in a different way. And that's what I really like about this. Revelation chapter 14, verse 4. Would you like to read it, Miriam, please?
Yes. These are those who did not defile themselves with women, for they remain virgins. They follow the Lamb wherever he goes. They were purchased from among mankind and offer as first fruits to Yahuwah and the Lamb.
Okay. So that is, so we're on 9, right? Hey, wait a minute. Oh, I see why he did that. I see why he did it. Take a look, Miriam. There's no number 9 here.
Nope, it's just 10.
Okay, so that verse that you just read, Revelation 17, verse 4. It was 17, verse 4 that we read. Was it?
I thought we just read 14, chapter.
All right, we read the wrong verse.
Mm-hmm.
We read the wrong verse.
Yeah, because this lady, the Scarlet Lady of Babylon, to me, she represents the whole world and the system that we're under. She doesn't represent the virgin at all.
Okay. Can we read it? Am I in the right place? Revelation 7. I'm in the right place. Okay. So can we read it and then you can give us your commentary?
Oh yeah. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet, was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She had a golden cup in her hand filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. So she represents this system that we're under today, this Babylonian wicked system. And they have all their wealth because they've stolen it from the whole world and put it in their own coffers. So that's where her wealth is. She has all the wealth. She owns it. She stole it. And her adulteries and that's filled with her abominable things is because of how she went about getting all this stuff. And the adultery is, she just cheated with everybody. She didn't have she was no respecter of person. She did whatever she had to do to get her wealth. That could be killing people, whatever, stealing. So that's why it's considered adultery, because she wasn't faithful to anybody. She just did whatever she wanted, which is what this system we're under does. It does whatever it wants. And this woman represents this Babylonian system that we're under.
Okay, excellent. And now I also see why he did not put this in the list. He didn't put it in the list. Well, the reason why he put it as a footnote, because it has the word cup, but it has no wine. So she held a golden cup. This is the sacramental cup. So she has a cup. So he put it in the footnote, but it does not have wine. Okay, I think that's why he did that. So let's go back to the document. Let's continue with our reading. So y'all notice in the list, it goes 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so there's no number 9. That's why 9 is in the footnote. Okay, now let's read number 10. 10th, the 10th explanation according to the author as to the meaning. In other words, what is this sacramental cup? The 10th meaning of the sacramental cup, or the 10th thing that the sacramental cup is, quote, this cup is the New Testament in my blood, end quote, says the Bacchus. I said I wasn't going to say these deities' names anymore. Says the deity whose name is spelled Bacchus of the Gospels. Okay, so the 10th, I think this is the most profound identification of what this sacramental cup is according to the author. Number 10, quote, "This cup is the New Testament in my blood," end quote, says the deity whose name is spelled Bacchus, who is the deity of wine. The author has shown us etymologically that this deity is, astronomically speaking and etymologically speaking, the Christ figure and the tetragrammaton. All right, the author has shown us that. So not religion scholars in the audience, not theology, but y'all can investigate further the etymological presentation that the author gave. So 10, "This is the cup in the New Testament in my blood," end quote, says the deity whose name is spelled Bacchus, also Jesus, and all derivatives thereof, and the tetragrammaton of the gospel. Let's continue. He cites Luke chapter 22, verse 20, as in his tipsy character. He's talking about the deity Bacchus. In his tipsy character, he speaks to the cup being in the wine instead of the wine being in the cup. Okay, I got to see that. He speaks to, in other words, he was drunk and messing up his speech, talking about the deity Bacchus. Is it 22? Yeah, 22:20. Bacchus. All right. Would you like to read, Miriam? Please. Okay, I'll read it. Okay, I'll read from the New Living Translation. "After supper, he took another cup of wine and said, 'This cup is the new covenant between capital God and his people, in agreement confirmed with my blood, which is poured out as a sacrifice for you.'" Now let's go back to what the author said. The author says here in 10, "This cup is the New Testament in my blood," end quote, says that of the deity whose name is spelled Bacchus, who the author identified etymologically as JC, the Christ figure. Citing Luke chapter 22, verse 20, here's the author's comments. "As in his tipsy character, he speaks of the cup being in wine instead of the wine being in the cup." I have to see this. Let me search down here. This cup is the New Testament. Let me, I'm going to go all the way down to the 1500s, y'all. Okay. If we see it there. I'm in the right verse, right? Leviticus 22:20. All right, so Geneva Bible 1587 says, likewise after supper, he took the cup, saying, "This cup is that New Testament. This cup is that New Testament in my blood, which is shed for y'all." Y'all see that? Let me highlight it. This cup. This cup is that New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you. Wow, man, that's very interesting. Bishop's Bible 1568 reads, "This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you." Coverdale Bible, "This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you." Tinsdale Bible reads, "This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you." Wow. Okay, I learned something new. They corrected it. Oh, no, the Berean Bible, the Berean Bible says this cup is the new covenant in my blood, which I
pour it out for you.
yeah. So now they say the same thing. Why didn't I see that the first time? This cup is the New Testament in my blood. Oh well, I think I'm getting sleepy. How long we been going, Miriam?
It's been a good 2 hours.
Has it been that long? I think I need to stop now because I think I may have reached my saturation point.
All right.
As demonstrated, y'all just saw. So Miriam, I enjoyed you being here,
Okay.
and hope you enjoyed this. Let me see how many pages. I'm ready to get off of this chapter. We only got two and a half more pages to finish this chapter. Oh, y'all, next week, well, not tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, scholars, we will start the lecture on Freemasonry, part 1. Freemasonry, part 1, which is page 238. Actually, I can't wait to get to this part to see what all of this has to do with it, But we'll begin Freemasonry on page 238. If not tomorrow, the next day, okay? So we'll finish this chapter. We only have 2.5 more pages, so tomorrow should be a short, well, I can't say that because I don't know what we're gonna encounter, but we are on our way. We are on our way, and I'm so excited to get, Miriam, the whole book, I've been waiting to get to the Freemasonry part.
Okay. And you're absolutely right. It is only 2 more pages. Not even quite 2 full pages.
That's what I've been waiting for. I really want to get to that because I want to know what was happening that got him locked up, and what's the connection between Freemasonry and the gospel. I really want to know that. Really, really want to know. So I've been waiting for this from the beginning. All right, so scholars, remember, this is a streaming course, 101 Ancient Ibaryath. This is a streaming course. You will learn the basic concepts of Ibaryath. This is an extremely intensive course. It's intensive, it's comprehensive, and it's fun. It's fun to go through. There's no religion in here. There's no doctrine in here. Okay, it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. We're giving it away really basically for free. And try it for $1 for 1 day. And then it's only $10 per month to subscribe. You can cancel anytime. There's no contract. You're going to learn all about the pictographs. You're going to learn about the culture that is embedded in the language. You're going to learn grammar, and you're going to learn how to do Ibaryath word studies. This is a powerful course. You're doing yourself a disservice if you have not subscribed. So let me say thank you to everyone who has subscribed, but continue to subscribe, y'all. Continue to subscribe and support. Also, as a reminder, go out and buy the 911 Ibaryath Rescue book. Buy it on Amazon.com. This is the international version. Buy the international version on Amazon.com. All of our other books, I'm asking you all to buy them on our website, which is zionlawschool.org. And the reason for that is because Amazon just takes too much money, y'all. They take way too much money, and so do the other online booksellers. It's really not even worth having your selling your books there. Right, but you have to because people will search Amazon, and if you're not there, then they're not going to see your book. Okay, so let me show y'all something. I want to show you all. Oh, Miriam, I should have showed you this.
Okay.
For your children. I don't know what I was thinking about. I should have showed you this. we have, scholars in the audience, this is in the description area of all of our videos. So with the Astrotheology video, go down into the description area. You'll find the link to subscribe to 101 Ancient Ibaryath streaming course. Here's the link. This is the link to our Saturday class. It's 10 a.m. I need to change this. Not 9 a.m. scholars, it's 10 a.m. every Saturday. Here's the link, 506 the curses. We break down every word into its etymological and dictionary meaning and its morphology. In other words, how it's constructed, step 1, step 2, step 3. This is a phenomenal course. If you think you've learned a lot in this class, come to our Saturday class. It's mind-blowing. Here is our recommended book list. You can see the books that I, Dr. Yasapa, have written, Zion Law School published books. Okay, so if you want to support, buy our books, subscribe to the streaming class, come to our class on Saturday, 10 a.m. It's free. You get to come 2 times for free, right? Also, you can, again, buy our books. Or if you want to give a donation, you can give a donation to our PayPal, one-time donation or recurring PayPal. Hey, Miriam, you see this book right here for your children?
Can you blow it up so I can see it? Because I'm on
it?
my phone. I can't hardly see anything.
Oh, let me see. I don't know how to blow it up.
Just click the link. Yeah.
Okay, so it's in the description area. I'm going to click on the link. The title is Animals in the Bible. Let me click on the link so you can see it. This is
okay.
This is
nice.
This is an amazing book. This is full color. It has the animals in the Bible. It's a glossy, full color book. You know how expensive this book is to print?
I can only imagine with all that color.
Yeah, but we only asked $9.99 for it. So we're not making no money off of this.
Right,
in a way. And it's so because it's for the children.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the Ibaryath?
Oh yeah.
And you see how to pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
And then underneath you see the English.
Oh yeah.
This is a beautiful, I'm proud of this book. I need to market it to get it to the but this is good for adults too. But babies and children love this book. People have told me that their babies love this book. But it's glossy. This is one of the books that I'm most proud of. But anyway, I should have told you about this, but I forgot.
Yeah, and the kids I have are older, but I'm sure they would still enjoy it.
Oh yeah, they will still enjoy it. And it's easy. You see, it's easy. I show how to pronounce it. I put the meaning. So you'll learn how to pronounce all of these animals' names in the Bible, plus a lot more. Okay.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
All right, scholars, let me check the comment section. Gary Tucker writes, oftentimes we don't see what our mind reads. We read how we think it should be read. Man, ain't that the truth, Gary Tucker? Ain't that the truth? And that's why in my opinion, that's why this brainwashing is so effective. So effective because people are seeing what they've been trained to see.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right. So with that said, y'all, let's call it a night. But do me a favor, everybody, scholars in the audience. Tomorrow, bring someone with y'all. I know we're just starting out. We're just starting out with the channel, like really doing videos seriously, trying to make a presence on social media. But if you like this content, if you learned, if you enjoy, if you think somebody else will benefit, if you've been here longer than 5 minutes, share, subscribe, and like. that puts the law of compensation squarely behind you. And so help me. I'm asking y'all to help me grow this channel. Y'all see my teaching style, you see my skill level. And if it's worthy and deserving, help me to grow the channel, okay? We have to activate the YouTube algorithm. And we have to return to the Most High as a nation, not individually, but as a nation. So we don't have to evangelize, but we do have to support each other, all right? We have to support each other.
That is true.
Anything before we sign off, Miriam?
So now this is on YouTube.
Yes, it's on YouTube. Yeah, it'll all be on YouTube.
Okay, so that's the reason I was asking, because you kept saying scholars, but I was looking at the Zoom and there's nobody on here but me and you. So I'm like, where is everybody?
Oh no, we're live on YouTube.
Okay. Okay.
Let me show you. We're live on YouTube.
No, I believe you, but I was like, where
I'm
is
sorry,
everybody?
I thought you knew. Do you see the screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I had turned it off. Well, no. Let me put something else on. Let me put Bert. Can you see that? Yeah, you see it. Yeah, we're live on YouTube.
Okay.
So this is not for the scholars in the classroom, but I refer to all of the House of Yasharala as scholars.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
I just was wondering. I thought, what's going on? So now I see. We're on YouTube, and you and I are on Zoom.
Yeah, we're on Zoom, broadcasting live to
So
YouTube.
I just look up to go to Zoom. I just not Zoom to YouTube. Do I just put you in the search engine?
Yeah, you can put me in the search engine, or you can just type in Zion Law School. Might be easier to just type in me. I don't know if I don't know how, I don't know if, yeah, let me know what you do and tell me what happens, because I don't know what happens when people type my name in. But I know if you type in Zion Law School, you'll see my logo. But if you type my name in, you might see some of my videos. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, let me know. But the link for the animals in the Bible, this book is also good for adults, Miriam.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah.
I'll probably be getting it for that price. I can afford to buy it.
Yeah.
And
I should have told you about it.
Oh no, you can't tell people about everything all at once. It takes time, but I will advertise for you so that people can buy your, get your book and everything.
Okay, great. So thanks. You're welcome to come back anytime you want and do this with me. It's more fun when I have somebody with me.
Sure. I will I'll probably get on in the morning because I really want to get back into the class anyway. Because I missed it when I wasn't with you, then I missed it when Hadara stopped doing it. And we loved the class. We all did. We really did. So
Okay, yeah. So I see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. The link is in the description area. It's 506 The Curses course, okay?
okay.
All right. So Shalom scholars in the audience, we'll see y'all tomorrow night at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the 44th live stream presentation of Astrotheology. Shalom.
Shalom. Oh, Dr. Yasapa.